Chicopee, Massachusetts, and we're going to go on a cemetery tour. It's called the Sons of Zion Cemetery, associated with the Sons of Zion Synagogue in Holyoke, Massachusetts. And we're going to concentrate on some of the features that we see within it. And one feature is right out here. It's a gate, and it was put up to honor the congregation itself. It says on the left gate, Congregation Sons of Zion, 5745. That's the Hebrew year. And then it says 1985. That would be the year that the gate was built itself. And it says below that, and it says to the right gate in Hebrew the same thing. But it says below that it was dedicated to a rabbi. Now, the cemetery itself is fairly small to medium size, and they actually have a section back here that's for the non-Jewish people that are married to Jewish people that aren't part of the faith. And so back here are a couple gravestones. And then we're looking at the modern section as we slide back. It's very modern graves, but we're going to go towards the oldest section. Now, the oldest section of all, the first burials, were 1897. So this cemetery is 126 years as of this year. And inside of here are many of Holyoke's very oldest Jewish burials. There is another Jewish cemetery associated with Holyoke called the Rodfield Shalom Cemetery. That also is in Chicopee, even though the synagogue itself is in Holyoke, the Rodfield Shalom Congregation's synagogue. So you have two different denominations of the Jewish religion with very similar situations. Now, we're looking at these old gravestones, and a lot of them are closer than most Christians' gravestones, and the reason why, they try to have every person have their own gravestone. Now, in front of us is a chapel devoted in 1930 to Rose Epstein, part of the Epstein family of Holyoke that went from being merchants into being furniture dealers. And a lot of the Epstein burials are right in front of that and towards the back. So we're going to go around here. There's gates towards the front here off of Ludlow Street. Also very nicely made, and wrought iron fence all around it, so the whole is very nice. Now we're going to go around the side. Now, the very oldest burials of all tend to be along this side here. There's a lot of burials within this section. Now you notice that some gravestones, like the one I'm looking at right now, the very small one, is only with Hebrew writing on it. Now, how could you possibly read these? Well, the way to read this is that anything in English on the gravestone repeats what's in Hebrew already. And basically what they're doing is there's always a salutation in the first line. There's always the name of the person in the second line. And there's always the years, birth and death, and sometimes their birth dates and death dates. And then the last line is always a statement that you are bound to find a bond to eternity. And that's a nice way, and almost every stone have that statement on it. Now, some stones have both English and Hebrew, some have only English, and some have both written on side them. Right? There's one right here. Beloved son Harry Solon, July 29th, 1921, December 24th, 1943. Notice the year. He died due to a plane crash during World War II. He was on a training mission in California, and the plane crashed. So he gave his life for his country during the course of World War II. His family, Solon family, was one of the very early Jewish families into Holyoke. Now, the very oldest burials of all are right next to Ludlow Street. They're right here. Some of them up to 1897, some of them 1898, in the 1902, 1903. All right, a lot of old-time burials around here. Now, We're going through the interior road now, and you get to see the back of the gravestones. So almost all the gravestones have all their information pointing in the direction towards the west, and that is tradition. And the body is buried in front of that gravestone. Now, in this gravestone right here that we're looking at on the side here, there's only Hebrew on the back. Only Hebrew on the back. And that statement would be the same as what you have around. Now, this next one has both the Hebrew and the English on it. All right, so this next stone after that has the Hebrew on the top in 4 lines, and then what I've told you before, all the statements that I made are below it in English. So, for instance, it says beloved wife and mother Ethel Epstein, then the date of birth, date of death, and time takes all but memories below that. And then her husband Julius Epstein is next one. All right, so it's a nice little system they got going here. And the other cemetery in Chicopee that's Jewish is very similar, but more modern. It was made and readied in 1924, so it's not as old as this one, but at least they have a lot of much similarities between the two. And back here, these are the burials of people that aren't Jewish, but are married to Jewish people. And also, if they have children that don't identify with the Jewish religion, they can be buried in here. This is called the Gentile section. And there's plenty of room for growth in the cemetery. It used to be a very dark looking cemetery in the past, and a lot of trees have been cut down, the stumps taken out, and it's been made into a much lighter look. And you see a lot of openings around here. They have enough room for the next 125 years of existence. So thank you for coming to the Sons of Zion Cemetery.